Y'all know what time it is. You know who I am and what I do. Welcome to the Shaw's Law Interview series. It's Black History Month. So there was nobody better than for me to get my OG, my dad, to come on and tell his story. And I just want him to show you that we're not so far away from segregation. And like for me, it's one generation removed. So this is my dad, Rob Shaw or Bob Shaw.
Good
So
afternoon.
I'm the pod god, aka Harry Potter. And for probably the rest of this interview, this is Pnicks. That's what we all call him. And I'm just gonna let my dad tell his story. So first, how old are you, Dad?
I'm 78 years old.
As you can see on his hat, my dad was in the service. We are in his man cave
Yeah.
right now. I'm going to be showing you guys pictures of him as a young Pnicks in the army. So I've known I wanted to interview my dad for Black History Month for quite some time. So I came to him and I was like, "Hey, Dad, do you have some pictures?" Bro, when he started showing me the pictures, first of all, I was like, "Oh, I stole this guy's face," because like a young Pnicks looks like me in elite shape. Like Army Pnicks is wild. So you're 78. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Durham, North Carolina.
And that's a black city.
A black, it's a black. We've had black males. We have black banks. Have a black bank, a black savings and loan, black insurance company, and black college, and also it's the home of Duke University, which is on the other side of town.
But like it's not just a black city now. Even as you were growing up in the, would you call it the segregated South or the semi-segregated South?
The segregated South.
And
Yeah.
even then, it was a black city. You had a lot of black ownership within that city, even during segregation, and not a lot of southern cities had that.
Right. We had all those things that I mentioned. Also, we had a black hotel, which was called the Biltmore Hotel in the area of town called Hayti. Also had a black drugstore and two black movie theaters, the Riga and the Booker T.
How much was it to go to the movies?
10 cent when I was going.
10 cent.
Go to the movie for 10 cent. And right beside it was a guy sold hot dogs. You get a hot dog for 10 cents. So if you had a quarter, you had a nickel left because soda cost 5 cents. So you.
Oh, you was all right with a quarter. You could
That's
go
right.
to the movie, get a little snack, and you weren't parched.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Every Saturday morning, me and my three cousins went to the movies. I was the youngest one. So every Saturday they come back and say, "Oh, Robert Lewis almost got hit by a car. Robert Lewis wouldn't listen to us. Robert Lewis ran across the street." I said, they come back and tell mother. And then they sit on the porch and laugh as I got a whipping. I'm talking about probably 1950, 51.
when you're OG, like you're important, the phone rings on you.
Yeah.
All right, you are. I guess you're technically the middle child, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm the third. I had a sister, brother, then myself, then a sister, brother, sister. So I'm the third child. Yeah.
And you guys all grew up in one house, or were you guys doing different things?
Oh no, we grew up in one house. My mother and father, I think they bought that house I think they bought it in 1948. I was in the first grade. Uh, but it was mostly just myself, my brother Grover, my sister Marie, and my baby sister Helen, who mostly stayed with my aunt, which was maybe 3 blocks away, my mother's sister. But my oldest brothers and sisters, they was away. They was in boarding school when I was growing up. So they graduated from a place called Lincoln Academy, which was in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, which is maybe a couple of hours from Durham, right outside of Charlotte.
So you told me this story really recently, and I would love for you to share it on the pod. The theme of this is that we're not very far removed from very poor race relations in this country. You can say what you want about them to this day, but we're not very far removed. Your grandmother, my great grandmother, was what?
My grandmother's mother, which is your
My great grandmother.
Great grandmother. She was a slave.
So my great grandmother was a slave, and what would happen when she would run away?
Oh well, my mother used to tell us stories when we was growing up about that. Her mother, my grandmother, which is my mother's mother, used to tell us about her mother, who was a slave, used to run away, and every time she ran away, they would shackle her and make her stand by a hot fire with those shackles on. So she sort of walked like a duck. But I never knew her. But my brother and my sister, who was older than me, knew her when they was growing up. She died when she was 102. I used to know where her grave was because my mother used to take us to the gravesite, which was in Orange County, close to a place called Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where my mother is from.
Now, speaking of grandma, she got to vote for Obama.
Yeah.
And that was a very big thing, not just for her, but that was big for Aunt Marie and you. Like, the way you guys celebrated that was powerful for me and Yosh and Mariah to watch.
Oh yeah, because mother was 99 and she died before he was inaugurated.
But her voting for him was still a very big moment.
Yeah, that's a picture here signing her absentee ballot.
I'm going to actually put that up on the screen for this part. And in that picture is from left to right is Aunt Marie, who is the sister that's younger than you.
Right.
Followed by Aunt Nay, who's your older sister who lived in boarding school. Yeah. And her husband, Uncle Ted. And is that Aunt Helen all the way on the right, the baby sister?
Maybe so. That might be Aunt Helen. Let me see. Yeah, I believe it is. I don't know who Uncle Hollis is. Yeah.
So that's a seminal moment for her as somebody who raised kids in the segregated South. To see a black president was...
Yeah, to grow up in the Jim Crow South, she never thought she would live to see that. She never thought she would live to see a black man run for president and be elected. So that was a real pleasure for her. She really, really enjoyed that. She couldn't believe it. A lot of people couldn't believe it though. But it was true.
So, as a black man who served in the military, can you get into... Well, let's get into your military time. What did you do in the Army?
Went in... when I joined the military, me and a guy I went to school with, I went in what they call airborne on a sign. So I didn't get a chance to choose my school. So they sent me to cook school, Fort Knox, Kentucky. And from Fort Knox, Kentucky, I went to jump school in Fort Benning, Georgia. I think I graduated the day before Thanksgiving, 1962. I got a certificate up there.
And you were in the 101 First Airborne?
Yeah, I was in Germany first, airborne over there, 2nd Artillery. And then 1964, I came back to the States and I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky to the 101st Airborne Division.
Airborne Division?
Yeah.
What's that mean? Spell it out for us.
We was airborne, we was parachutists. We jumped out of our airplanes, C-119, 123, 130, 124, and the last jump was 141. I think it was 141C, that my last jump I made. Yeah.
What's that experience like? You're in the plane and you know you're about to jump out. What's running through your head? Or you're just, got to do it?
Well, before you get assigned to you, when you finish jumps, in order to complete jump school, you have to make 5 jumps. And so you make those 5 jumps, and when you go to your regular military outfit where you're going to be stationed permanently, you're called a cherry. because you only have those 5 jumps until you make your first jump in your regular unit you've been assigned to. You're a cherry. And the first jump, I was telling somebody the other day, my first jump out of airplane was a night jump. The guys, what you mean? You jumped at night? I said, no, my eyes was closed. So we call that a night jump. When you hugging
Your shoot.
your parachute that is your reserve chute. And it was and after the first jump, it happened so fast, standing it up, gone, you're gone, you're gone. And so you do those 5 jumps, and then after that, it's just like it's like a job. You go to work every day, and when it's time to jump, you jump, and it's just like driving a car. You jump, you can steer the chutes, you can uh, go forward, go side to the left, go to the right, go to the back, rear left, rear right, and it's just like a job. You get up and you jump, and you if you don't jump, you don't get paid.
So so far in your military history, you jumped out of airplanes and you were a cook in Kentucky.
Yeah, I went to cook school in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Uh, but that was my job. My job was people think that when you was a parachutist, that was your job. No, you had guys who was parachuters. They was truck drivers. They was cooks. They was mechanics. They was company clerks. They was first sergeants. They was medics. So everybody that was in airborne had a job, had a regular job, but to get extra money you became a parachutist, and it was all volunteer. So, something I always wanted to do.
Always wanted to jump out of planes or join
I
the
always, I
service.
always wanted to jump out of planes because when I was growing up, I met a couple of guys. When I was a real young kid, I guess I was probably in elementary school. That used to come to Durham from Fort Bragg, and they was parachutists. And I said, boy, I sure would love to do that. And got lucky. One of them I met when I was in Germany. I think he had been in maybe 13, 14 years, and he was a company clerk, and he remembered me from coming up to Durham. Said, hey, yeah, it was great. Met a lot of people and a lot of nice people.
So just jumping around, your high school, Hillside High School, is known for it's a big school. It's a 5A school, right?
No, it's a 4A school.
4A school.
Yeah,
Um, for the local people, for reference, as big as it gets in New York is double A.
yeah.
So 4A is as big as it gets in North Carolina.
As far as I know, 4A is large as it. And I don't know if just by the population of the city or the population of the number of kids that go to that school. I'm not sure how it became 4A, but we was a pretty good high school.
And you guys have produced multiple professional athletes, right?
Yeah, we produced a few athletes. Yeah,
Rodney Rogers, correct?
Rodney Rogers was one. Uh,
Sam
John Lucas.
John Lucas. Okay, I knew it was one of
Yeah,
those older guys.
and there was another guy. I can't think of his name. I think he went play for the. I think he moved from. I shouldn't say that because really don't know, so I won't even mention it. Yeah,
But and according to Uncle Ted, Aunt Naomi's husband,
yeah.
rest in peace, you were really fast. Like you were a really good track athlete. So a couple questions. Where did that gene miss me and Jordan?
It didn't miss you guys. You guys just didn't
We're
want to
just
do
slow.
it. You guys, yeah. Mariah did it. Mariah was pretty fast.
Dad, they
But
said
she
you could
ran.
run on quicksand.
Yeah, I heard
They
that
said you could
before.
run on
No,
quicksand.
no. When I was in, I ran track for 1 year. I ran the 880, and that year we won the North Carolina State Track Championship. The schools were segregated then, but I think we came. That was our 13th year in a row winning that track championship. I think we came in the 880 that year, which is a half mile. Was first, second, third, fourth, and fifth in that event. But Hillside was a sports school, plus it was an academic school. We had a lot of academic scholars go to that school.
All right. Let's get into some of your job history, just as somebody who's worked in some fun places. You worked in a cigarette shop.
Yeah, worked in I'm working a back company from 1967. I think I started in 1967. I remember I started in 1968 because I worked there for 2.5 years. And we made Lucky Strike, Pall Mall, Silver Thin, Tarleton, and that company isn't there anymore. And we made really good money. I
What's
came
really
in
good money in 1968?
$13 an hour was pretty good money. I was driving a forklift.
$13 an hour in 1968
Yeah,
is very good money because
yeah. But those factory jobs, and a lot of people made a lot more than that because they had different skills or they was working a different skill set. Yeah,
and you were paid. Were you allowed to take cigarettes?
yeah. They gave us a free pack a day. Free pack a day. They also was in the South, so I, the white people was making 2 or 4 cents, a dollar more than we were, and a suit was filed, and we won. And I was living in New York when it was settled, so I had to go back to North Carolina to pick up a check from the company because they wouldn't mail it to. If you didn't come pick it up in check in the person, you wouldn't get it. And I think that check was $700, and there was a difference in those 2.5 years. Two or
Of
four cents
pay.
an hour that
Okay.
we weren't the black people weren't getting. So yeah, but it was a good company. It had medical and covered us medically. And my mother worked there. My mother worked there for 39 years, sent all of us to school. That went.
Did you ever do something that might be considered a little wild, like I don't know, like open a speakeasy on the precinct block?
Yeah, but we won't talk about that.
I think the statute of limitations is all right,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah, yeah. That was yeah. Me and this guy had a little place, yeah. But that was a long time ago.
The statute of limitations is over. You
Yeah.
gotta tell this story.
Oh yeah, we had a little place that we sold beer and we sold what they call was we call it a pink lady, little cherry juice with a cherry in it, and I think it was a vodka. And we rented one had a room upstairs. We rented one room, and it was at a police changing place, and that was 68. I think that was 1968. Yeah.
So what happened there that got you a little local notoriety?
Some people was a little. We think a little boy set their place on fire, and I got him out of it. And the next day, well, they interviewed me, and the next day they had to write up in the black paper. I never forget it. Had two white policemen on the front page saying how they helped rescue this kid from the fire. And that was we were shocked, but we didn't talk about it because I wasn't supposed to be there anyway. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of uh, your pink ladies and what you sold, what's your drink of choice?
A scotch.
Scotch.
That's right. I like that Glenlivet. Yeah, drink. That's my drink of choice. And then every now and then I have a beer.
Would you join the army in today's age?
Yeah,
You
I
would still
would.
join the
Yeah.
service?
I grew up in service. That's where I grew up. When I went in, I was what, 18, 19? Yeah, and I grew up and stayed in there 5 years, 18 days. And yeah, it was yeah, I really grew up in the service. Yeah. Did a lot of traveling, met a lot of people. So it was like reading a good book.
All right. So where do you stand on issues that are happening today, such as police brutality? Is this more of the same? Have you seen improvement?
It may be worse, but statistically I don't know. But because of social media now, it's more out in the open. You
It's
know,
harder to hide.
you could yeah. everybody has a camera. So you can't do anything now because of social media. So it's out in the open, which is really good. You bring it to the light and you educate people, and hopefully it'll get better. All you guys grew up a lot differently than I did because you guys went to private school.
We went to
Yeah,
predominantly white private schools
you,
at
you,
that.
you did. Yeah, I went to public school, so you guys was more protected from bullies or people acting out in school or acting out in classes because private schools didn't do that. And I had a chance to go to private school, and I didn't go, and I don't regret it. My mother let me decide that said no, you don't. If you don't want to go, you ain't got to go. I was gonna go to a place called Longberry Institute in 19. Oh, what year was that? Probably 1959, I guess, or 59 or 58. And my niece went 3 or 4 years later to the same school. It might have been longer than that later, yeah. But I often wonder what would have happened if I had went there.
Growing up in the Jim Crow South, did you recognize relations were an issue, or were you just a kid and this is life?
Oh no, you knew, you recognized because you couldn't go in restaurants and sit down and eat. A lot of them had a back window for black people, but then they call them colored people. If you went in a store, you had colored bathroom, and it said color right above the door, said white right beside it. Went to a water fountain, one said color, one said white. So you knew you couldn't sit in the front of the bus. So oh yeah, you definitely knew, and it could have been a lot worse if Durham didn't have this recreational parks. We had a big swimming pool that all the blacks went to. I think they called that pool. Did they call it Hillside? I don't remember the name of the pool, but everybody went there. We also had a place that we used to call neutral, Hayti. So if you live in, I lived on the West End. So if you lived on the West End, North Durham, East Durham, South Durham, Hickstown, Walltown, if you came to Hayti, it was a neutral site. Everybody came there. It was neutral. You didn't fight. You didn't get in no trouble generally because the black movies was there. The black hotels was there. You had black grocery store, black funeral
Wait, I
homes.
don't want to interrupt you, Dad. I just want to clarify when you say it was neutral, it was neutral between black people that might have, it wasn't neutral between blacks and whites. It
No, it was
was
between black people because if
if
you doing
North
it,
End people and South End people might have had an issue, but that's where it was cool for everybody to hang out.
oh sure, because if you I lived on the West End, you call it Hickstown, more likely you get caught on there, you're gonna get your butt kicked. I mean, that's just the way it was. Or you get caught in North Durham, because you didn't live there. They know who lived there and who didn't, what side of town you was from. But even the high school was neutral though. We had the junior high school. Everybody went to Whittier High School, so it was sort of like a neutral spot. And you had fights every now and then, but Hillside, it was every if you was black and you graduated in I'm the 62, you went to a black high school. It was all black. Hillside High School, uh, with it junior high school, and it was on the east side of town because that's where North Carolina Central University was. So Hillside was almost right across the street from North Carolina Central. So that was a all black area. All that stuff has changed now, though.
And you worked at Duke for a time. Yes.
I worked at Duke when I was in high school. I worked as a hot food runner. And what that is, they had different dining rooms that the students ate in, and you kept the hot food line supplied with food. Like if they had hamburger, steak, gravy, potatoes, you made sure that they did food, that food didn't run out as they came through the line. So the servers, will always have food so they could serve it because they came and they bought food. It was an experience, yeah. And then I worked there after I got out of service until I got the job at the American Tobacco Company. And in between that time, I got a job at a place called Me Containers that made paper into cardboard and partitions and things, and they made corrugated paper, and they shipped all that stuff to different places. Like you put a couch in it, you put meat in wax containers. They had it because the machine had wax papers where you could put stuff in, and they sent it out to. It was commercial companies sending that stuff out commercially. Companies bought it to ship stuff in.
Right. And then you got your associate's degree from Westchester Community College.
No, I went to Westchester Community College. I never finished, but I got my. I kept passing those examinations, state tests, and that's how I got the job as a social worker, client coordinator, what they call a Medicaid case manager, and all of them's the same job. Yeah. So I worked for the state from 1970 to 2000.
I was gonna say, I felt like it was longer than that.
And I retired, but I retired as a social worker because I kept passing those exams. And I had a caseload of, I think I had 30 people. I might have had more. And most of them was in Ulster County. I think I had one in Dutchess County, New York.
So I have a lot of memories from your job there, like as a kid.
Right. Because I worked as a recreation worker. I used to.
Oh, I didn't even think about those. Okay, so now that you brought that up, when you worked in Passaic, New York, you were the rec coordinator, right?
Yeah, and before that, I was the coordinator. I was a building charge.
So I don't know if I remember that, but I remember as the rec coordinator, used to set me up with a cot behind the stage, pull the curtain, and I used to watch Bruce Leroy movies all day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I did off-campus excursions. I did trips to the city. We used to go to a different institution once a month. You get the opportunity for the clients to visit their parents. And so we go down there and stay 12 hours, I believe. And we come back, and they could visit their parents.
So I remember Passaic vividly because I was always watching Bruce Lee movies behind the curtain. I remember you used to pick me up after school and bring me to your office.
Yeah, when I was working in Kingston, New York.
Oh man, I used to sit at your friend Dennis's desk.
Yeah,
and I used to chew his pencils. That probably drove him nuts.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then you would leave the room sometimes, and man, I must have been dumb. So you'd leave the room and go to somebody else's office, and you'd call me on the phone. Do you remember the name you used?
Mr. Ichabod
Johnson.
Ichabod Johnson.
Son, I'd pick up that phone and you'd be like, yeah, this is Ichabod Johnson. And I must have been so dumb. Yeah. Oh man, my dad just walked out the room. And I know the other people in the office must be in there in tears.
Oh yeah, they knew, because I would give you a case to solve. Yeah, tell you, say, yeah, I'm an alcoholic and I need a drink, and you was pretty good. You said, Mr. Ichabod Johnson, well, you don't need a drink, you call your social worker and talk to him and see if he can help you and all. Yeah, you was pretty good. Yeah.
Well, it's just funny because you talked about you were a the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, is that you worked in recreation at Passaic. I spent 3 years as the recreational director at the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
Mom and both of you were in the social work field. That's currently what I do. And that wasn't by design. Like, I don't ever remember sitting down and thinking, this is what I want to do. It's just what I was raised around.
Yeah.
And it got me here. And that's sort of what got me to enroll back in school, because part of it is you raised us around sports. And that's where my love for sports comes from.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. We used to go to I used to take you guys home, and we used to go out to Dukes and the Hall of Fame. My buddies who was the police chief out there, Robert Dean. We used to go out. He used to take us out. I took you guys out one time to a track meet.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You've taken us to Durham Bulls games when we're
But
down in
yeah,
North
we used to go
Carolina.
to see the Durham Bulls because that was like 4 blocks from where I grew up at the house I lived in. So we used to have a good time when going down there. But I want to while I'm on this podcast, congratulate you because I know as March the 5th you will have your bachelor's degree, which is a great attainment. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dad. You
Yeah.
guys helped and pushed and prodded
Yeah.
all the way through. Like, I really appreciate it. And my bachelor's degree will be in sportscasting, and like that doubles down on the love of sports you guys instilled in me. Like, we're in your man cave, and I'll take a picture and put it on the screen. Like, there's the trophies that me, Jordan, and Kid won, and like they're all hanging up. I remember like looking at the one that really sticks out is the one with the American flag. I feel like that's my first one that I really remember
Yeah.
from Little League Baseball. And like we were kind of like always involved in something.
Yeah, we had to keep you guys busy so you wouldn't get into trouble, especially during the summer.
During the summer, I went to a lot of summer camps and like built some friendships and built skills and got to compete against people from other areas, and not just sports but trivia nights or swimming. I spent a summer at North Carolina Central, my seventh grade year, the summer before my eighth grade year of middle school, which was very much my first real black experience.
Right. It truly, yeah. There was students from all across the country that went to that summer program in Central. Yeah.
Oh man, there was this one kid, Julian, and I don't know, there was clearly something about him, because even on the day you guys dropped me off there, you gravitated to him, and I didn't know that at the time, but he wound up being like the big man
Yeah,
on
big man.
campus of our group.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot. I've always talked a lot.
Yeah.
I wound up getting into a fight.
Right. I remember. Yeah.
Got into a fight with a kid, and like I said, Julian was the big man on campus, and like everybody sort of respected him, and he was cool, and he never like went out of his way to. He let me handle it. Like, I got into a fight, and you have to handle that, or else you'll become a target.
Yeah.
But the kid was a little bit older than me, and when the kid wanted to fight a second time, he sort of stepped in and squashed it. Like, yo, you don't have to like him, but like, we're done with this. We're not doing this again.
Right. Yeah.
And Julian just pulls me to the side and like, yeah, yo, when your pops dropped you off, we met, we talked, and he just was like, yo, look out for my kid.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
Right.
But like, and like I said, this is like my first real black experience. There are no white kids there. We're on Central's University's campus. We're going to classes. We get to use the student union.
And you lived in dormitories.
We lived in the dorms, and this is like a wild experience. And like, I don't want y'all to get it twisted. My joints work. Like, I held my own.
Yeah.
Julian just said they didn't have to be around too.
Yeah.
But like, so something about him, like, you gravitated towards him, and it turns out that the whole camp gravitated towards him.
Yeah. Yeah. Was he from Minnesota?
He was from Minnesota.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But you guys had a different experience growing up than I did, because every summer me and Mama took you guys to St. Thomas, St. Croix. We took you to St. Lucia's.
We've done Dominican Republic. We did Mexico.
Cancun. Yeah. So every summer you guys was somewhere going. And in wintertime, I used to take you guys to see the Jets, the Nets,
We
the
spent
Yankees.
a lot of my favorite basketball memories involve the Nets.
The Knicks. And had Jordan in the Knicks locker room. Took him down there. We went through the locker room. Yeah.
So my first basketball game, me, you, and the neighbors go with CYO.
You're right.
2001, it's Nets versus Bulls. Stephon Marbury has his first career triple double.
Right. Yeah.
That is like, I knew I liked basketball. I was okay, but that experience is what like set me on fire for the NBA. Yeah. Like I had the little pamphlet, the game book, and in the back of it, there's the Nets schedule.
Yeah.
And that set me on fire. And then that's the same season that Marbury makes the All-Star game. Iverson is All-Star game MVP, but Marbury and Kobe have this little duel at the end of the game where Marbury hits a three, and then Kobe hits one, then Marbury hits a long two, and then Kobe hits another one. And then right after the All-Star break, Kobe and the Lakers, this is Kobe Shaq Lakers, they come to the Meadowlands, and Kobe drops a 50-piece nugget on them.
Yeah. We used to go to where the Prudential Center when the Nets was
playing. I love the Prudential Center. That
first game was with Wade was there, but they played Miami.
So I remember that one. Yeah. You know which one I vividly remember us? I don't even know if you're going to remember this. We saw rookie Paul George when he was with the Pacers.
In Indiana.
And two things from that game will always stick out to me. One, I thought Paul George was going to rip the rim off. Every time he got on a fast break, he was bringing a different dunk.
Yeah, bro.
And Darren Collison is the fastest person I've ever seen in real life. And I've seen Iverson play twice in real life. Yeah. And I've never seen anybody faster than Darren Collison.
Collison, yeah, from Kansas.
UCLA.
You're right, UCLA, right. Collison, yeah.
I've never seen anybody faster than him.
Okay, yeah.
Me and you have gone to a Yankee game. I saw Andy Pettitte pitch live.
Right. One time I took a bunch of you guys. When DJ took you out. Well, that was the Nets game.
That's the Paul George game, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's the Paul George game, and we go and get Wendy's afterwards, and you're trying to split the checks, and the lady's like, I can give you 2 receipts. I don't want 2 receipts. I want 2 checks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, lady.
So that's where like my real love of sports comes from. That's where I'd assume Jordan's love of sports comes from. We used to take us camping when we were kids.
Right, all your cousins. Every year, we go away for a week up to the Adirondacks.
And like that's when I realized you were a different dude. You were like really a one-man camping store. Like it was me, Mamadou, Seth, Dart, Danae, Jordan. So it was the 6 of us.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you all 6 of us were useless besides you, you'd pitch the tent. You drove all the way up there. You used to row the boat when we were in it. You had like this little griddle thing where you were making whole meals on like one skillet, like, all right, pancakes, home fries, and eggs on one skillet. And you used to do this thing like at night, we'd be like sitting by the campfire, and then boom, you'd just be gone. And it just sent all of us into a panic.
Seth?
Yeah, no, it sent all of us into a panic. Like, oh crap, they'd be like, where's Uncle Bob? And I'd be like, I don't know where my dad went. And then everybody knows you're around the corner waiting to scare us. So it's, well, I got to go to the bathroom. All right, we'll go. No, we might be in there waiting for us. And oh man, those camping trips are some like very vivid memories I have. I think my kids are going to have super vivid memories of when you make fires in the backyard.
Oh yeah, they love
that'll be like very special for them. You do Saturday morning breakfast with them. Those are things that they're going to look back on and appreciate.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad they do. They got to eat.
All right, Dad, I won't steal any more of your President's Day. Thank you for coming on and just kind of shooting the breeze with me.
Thanks for the cold one. This is different. Never had this before. And this is my beer. Midnight Lager.
Special thanks to my father, Pnicks, AKA Robert Shaw, And this has been the Shaw's Law Podcast. And like that, we out.
Goodbye.